The Sith are commonly known as some of the most stereotypically evil villains in movie history. Vader, Sidious, Maul, Dooku, etc. are presented as these ruthless murderers and enemies of everything that is good and just. In principle, this perception is correct. Under most moral standards, the Sith really are evil. But what many people get wrong about them is that they aren't just evil for evil's sake. There's actually a pretty coherent philosophy behind the Sith religion, centered around maximizing personal freedom, which is quite interesting to explore, especially if you compare it to the Jedi philosophy, which is also centered around freedom in a way.
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
In this video, I want to take a look at these belief sets and determine their strengths and weaknesses, because I think that they are valuable and applicable even outside of Star Wars. As you might have expected, light and dark side philosophy are two extremes of an ideological spectrum, but they do share some similarities as well, so let's talk about that at first. Most importantly, both Jedi and Sith reject materialism. They don't see any value in material wealth if it doesn't directly help them in achieving their ideological goals. This is reflected in one of my favorite quotes from the Darth Bane trilogy, where Darth Senna states, "Materialism, an attachment to physical goods beyond their practical value, is a trap, a chain to ensnare the foolish with their own greed." Jedi and Sith are both exclusively interested in improving their connection to the Force. Everything else is kind of just means to get there. That's the first really important thing to understand about them. Now, what they want to achieve with the Force, that's where they are complete opposites. Each philosophy follows a code that stands in direct contrast to the other. For the Jedi, it goes as follows. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. This mantra represents how Jedi aim to achieve spiritual enlightenment. By freeing themselves from their ego, represented by emotion, ignorance, passion, chaos and death, they aim to open themselves up to peace, knowledge, serenity, harmony and most importantly the Force, which they want to use to protect and aid others. They're kind of like classic superheroes. As Force sensitives, they have this special power and they see it as their obligation to harness it for altruistic acts of kindness.
With great power comes great responsibility.
By practicing self-discipline and letting go of attachments, they fully devote themselves to this heroism. So the philosophy in itself is positive and moral, but what you could criticize is that it's very demanding. It forces you to free yourself from yourself in order to serve the common good. In direct contrast, the Sith only serve themselves. Their code goes as follows. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. The first line, peace is a lie, there's only passion, shows how directly the Sith reject spirituality. The Jedi, but also most of our religions, are built around the belief that the material world is only temporary, while the spiritual realm is infinite and peaceful, and therefore more important. The Sith don't believe that. The only thing that is important to them is the here and now. That's why they don't believe in concepts such as honor and self-sacrifice. To quote Darth Revan, honor is a fool's prize. Glory is of no use to the dead. Another important aspect of Sith philosophy is that they view the world as an inherently unequal place, in which the strong impose their will onto the weak. Instead of trying to fight this natural order like the Jedi do by helping the weak, the Sith choose to accept and even embrace it. They simply want to get to the top of the world's hierarchy by using the power of the Force as a weapon to dominate everybody else. In a way, the Sith are kind of like humanity. As a species, we utilize the power of our intellect not to live in harmony with nature and other animals, but to become the undisputed kings of this planet. Sith philosophy basically takes our collective belief that as a superior species we deserve to put ourselves above others and applies it onto the individual. I think this revelation really puts things into perspective. Strong individuals who use their superiority to do as they please are commonly labeled as evil, but collectives like companies, countries, or species often do the exact same thing without really questioning it. To me, that doesn't justify Sith philosophy, but it shows that it has some real-life relevance. Another thing that is important to understand is that, unlike often believed, Sith don't kill innocents just for pleasure. Darth Bane, for example, stated, "Killing without reason or gain is a petty pleasure of sadistic fools." Sith do enjoy passionate emotions like fear and hatred because these fuel the dark side.
I can feel your anger.
But they aren't hedonists. They don't just do things for fun. All their actions are aimed at improving their strength so that they can ultimately free themselves from everything. And this end goal of ultimate freedom, that's the biggest flaw in their philosophy, in my opinion. You see, we all appreciate a certain amount of freedom, no doubt. It's definitely one of the most popular values in Western society. We are proud to call our nations free, and individually, most of us try to accumulate as much money as possible because money means freedom. So the wish to maximize personal freedom is certainly something we all can relate to. But the Sith are the perfect example why complete freedom isn't something worth achieving. The Sith trust nobody, respect nobody, love nobody. They give up everything, including meaningful relationships, because that's what you have to do if you want to be truly free.
これが自由。そう、自由な世界。その代わりに何もない。
That's what makes the desire for freedom so paradoxical. We aspire freedom because we want stuff. We want to be able to choose our friends, partners, cars, entertainment, food, whatever. But getting these things inevitably limits our freedom. So freedom is only really of use to you if you're using it to limit your freedom. You know what I mean? Kind of like how money is only of use to you if you're willing to spend it. So the core of Sith philosophy, freedom for the sake of freedom, doesn't make much sense for the individual, and it certainly doesn't justify acts of cruelty towards others. In that regard, Jedi philosophy is highly superior. Helping those in need is certainly a much more positive and productive value to center your ideology around. Nevertheless, some aspects of Sith philosophy can still help you to improve your life. I think confronting your emotions, for example, has the potential to be really healing for those that feel numb and empty. The Sith don't fear their negative emotions, instead they embrace them. They enjoy passion, even if it stems from pain, and that to me totally aligns with my life philosophy. I think it's better to feel a lot of different positive and negative emotions than feeling nothing.
I love life. Huh? But you just got dumped. Well, yeah, and I'm sad. But at the same time, I'm really happy that something can make me feel that sad. It's like, it makes me feel alive, you know?
Also, last but not least, the Sith desire strength. They don't want to be victims. And I think that's healthy as well. Of course, unlike the Sith, you shouldn't look down on those who are weak, but it is also problematic to desire weakness. Anyway, I hope I was able to convince you that Sith philosophy is more interesting than it might seem at first. If you have anything to add or disagree with something I said, please share your opinions in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.